Dramatic footage just released today. Spokane police waited months to release this video. Tonight, see for yourself if officers did the right thing.
Temperatures made it above freezing today. First signs of some warmer temperatures as we head towards the weekend.
Election day is almost here, and just a few key positions are up for grabs in Spokane. Tonight, a final look at the $2 million spent to get your vote. Hi everyone, thank you for being here with us tonight. I'm Whitney Ward. You have 5 more days now to fill out your Election Day ballot, but the campaign money hasn't stopped flowing. In Spokane, candidates for mayor and city council have spent more than $2 million. Political reporter Casey Decker is here now to break down where it's all coming from and where it went. Casey?
Well, Whitney, the last time we did a money check was on last Tuesday. In the 8 days since, more than 160,000 new dollars have been reported in the mayor's race alone. A lot of that from those independent expenditures, an unlimited form of support that doesn't require a candidate's approval. All just more evidence that this is one of the biggest elections Spokane has seen, maybe ever. PACs have spent nearly $100,000 on Nadine Woodward in the last week alone. The biggest supporters, the Washington Realtors PAC and the Spokane Good Government Alliance. That alliance is buying these ads attacking Stuckert that have been on the airwaves a lot lately. Their main source of money is the Wolf Company, a major developer. PACs have spent roughly $30,000 on Stuckert in the past week. Citizens for Liberty and Labor, funded by firefighters and other unions, has been running these ads attacking Woodward. When you add PAC support to individual donations, just over $500,000 has been spent on Stuckert this year, and just under $700,000 has been spent on Woodward. That, of course, adds up to over $1.2 million. The last 3 mayoral races drew in a combined $1.3 million. The council president's race is just as impressive, though less balanced. Money spent for Cindy Wendell far outweighs that for Brianne Beggs. She has nearly $100,000 more in individual donations. And on top of that, $300,000 more in PAC support. Nearly all of that from the Washington Realtors. The total money spent on this race so far rests at nearly $680,000. Just over $300,000 was spent on the last 3 council president races combined. That's less than half of what we've seen in this one race and less than what's been spent on Wendell alone. Finally, the other council member elections. These numbers actually aren't as unique. The 3 races combined add up to just under $350,000. The 3 races in 2017 totaled just over $420,000. Clearly, the spenders are making their voice heard in this election. If you want to make yours heard, make sure to get those ballots in before Tuesday. Whitney?
All right, Casey, thank you very much. Hey, make sure to bundle up your kiddos when they head out the door tomorrow, and you too, because we are in for another cold one. Meteorologist Michelle Boss in the Weather Center right now with one big thing to know. Michelle?
And that big thing to know would be that it's going to be cold but dry. Trick-or-treating temperatures are going to be in the 30s and then dropping into the 20s depending on how late you go. So the earlier the better. 5 o'clock temperatures are going to be in the upper 30s. By 7 o'clock we'll be down to freezing. And for those folks headed a little bit later, bundle up. It's going to be in the upper 20s. Right now we've got temperatures which have fallen into the upper 20s in Spokane, but even colder in Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, lower 20s there. It looks like it is going to be another chilly morning. We had a band of clouds that may have slowed down our temperature fall just a little bit. We're clearing out right now and expecting more clouds to roll in through early tomorrow morning. So you're going to be waking up to mostly cloudy skies. Don't worry though, we're expecting the weather to stay dry, and those clouds will be clearing out by mid-afternoon. So mostly clear skies for the evening. Temperatures topping out around 40 degrees. Slow warm up towards the weekend. 43, mostly sunny on Friday, and into the middle, maybe even upper 40s by Saturday.
All right, Michelle, thanks a lot. And a lot of smoky haze hanging over the Rathdrum area today. That brought the air quality index way down to unhealthy at one point. It's basically what happens when warmer air traps the colder air near the ground, creating that inversion. Okay, so where's it coming from? Northern Lakes Fire Department says burning slash piles near Athol, and it could last a few more days. But of course, a much bigger problem in California. More than 6,000 firefighters are on the ground right now trying to make progress against 3 main fires, and they are starting to gain the upper hand. Still though, gusty winds caused the fires to multiply today. Flames from the Easy Fire came within 50 feet of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley. That's not too far from LA. The library had to evacuate along with about 7,000 homes in that area. They did manage to save the buildings, but this is the first time the executive director there can remember such a serious threat.
They're closer than I've ever seen flames get near the library before. It's a frightening thing, but firefighters are real heroes here.
Investigators still working to determine the cause of that fire, but utility company Southern California Edison told state regulators that fire did start near its power lines. One school in Southwest Washington is getting rid of mandatory sex education classes. They'll still be offered, but they won't be required. It sparked a lot of conversation online today, so we asked our local school districts about the policies here. Spokane Public Schools does require students to take human growth and development classes. Central Valley also requires students to take sex ed, although parents can opt their kids out. Washington state law only requires that public schools teach about HIV and AIDS prevention. Any additional material on sex ed is up to each district. A Spokane police officer is accused of sexual assault, and tonight we are learning more about the allegations against Officer Nathan Nash. Court records show Nash was the officer who responded to a domestic violence call between a woman and her boyfriend on October 19th. Documents say that woman contacted Nash a few days later to show him photos of her bruises and hospital records for evidence. She says when they were alone in her apartment, he asked to see the bruises on her legs. When she lowered her pants to show him, the woman says he assaulted her. Officer Nash is now on administrative leave. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office is investigating. It is incredibly dramatic body cam video of an arrest by Spokane police back in February. City council members have been asking to see this video for months after reports that it was excessively violent. Lucas Ellerman is the one being arrested. He had multiple felony convictions and led police on a chase. In the video, officers did manage to pin his truck into a snowbank. He can be heard on the video telling officers he had a handgun. Police sent in the canine, and officers never did find a gun at the scene, but the department's internal investigation determined the officer's use of force was within policy, with two exceptions: the officer's demeanor and use of profanity.
Were they acceptable in the sense of how we want our officers to act? No. But from a standpoint of law, he wasn't doing this with the intent to intimidate or harass. He was doing this with the intent to de-escalate and not have this subject provoke him into deploying deadly force.
Now, Police Chief Craig Meidel said today the consequences for that officer will be decided later this week. Celebrations still underway in Washington, D.C. tonight after the Nationals beat the Astros to win the World Series. It was a deciding Game 7, and a former Spokane Indians pitcher was on the mound for Houston. Zach Greinke pitched 6 outstanding innings for the Astros. He only allowed 2 hits, but one was a solo homer. He got pulled a few pitches after that. The Nats, of course, went on to score 5 straight runs, ultimately taking home the title with a score of 6-2. Well done. All right, still ahead tonight, Democrats taking a big step in the impeachment inquiry this week, but the president isn't backing down. What tomorrow's vote in the House actually means next.